Hey everybody, I got a video or two here for you today, and I'm recording this Tuesday morning, and I'll get this up whenever I get around to getting it edited. But I noticed some comments on my Egypt Pyramid series about some pyramids that I had left off, some down in northern Sudan today, and also the White Pyramid that is located at Dashur, and that's certainly worth a video if I'm going to be making videos, or if I chose to make videos on all the pyramids in Egypt, because, of course, all pyramid lives matter. So let's go down and take a look at the White Pyramid in Dashur. And really, we don't have too much left. And I think I mentioned this on one of my videos I think it was the Red Pyramid video, that this may have been a valley temple. And really, all we have today here are ruins. It's very undistinguished, and that's probably why I did not include it originally. But this is the remains of the White Pyramid of Amenemhet II from the 12th dynasty. And Amenemhet had brothers and predecessors and people that lived after him that were certainly trying to attach their legacy to some pretty famous pyramids. Now here is an overhead look. This is the Red Pyramid, and this is the Ben Pyramid. Two pyramids that just appear very well made, very ancient, and it seems a lot of guesses onto who built them and when, as far as the original structure. But here you see the Black Pyramid of Amenemhet III. And if the White Pyramid is right here, these two seem to be tucked kind of inside of these two in proportion to the Nile Valley. And that seems to have some plan to it as far as the Black Pyramid also. And if you go down to the Nile here, under the sand, there could be a causeway and a valley temple located here. It just looks like sand has piled up. Now here is a look, and this must be looking to the south and west. Here is the White Pyramid. All we see today looks like a hill, a natural hill. Here's the Ben Pyramid in the distance behind it. So you got to wonder how many other things that look like natural hills are actually pyramids, because this is all we have of the White Pyramid today. Now this is touregypt.net, and I'll leave a link. Let's just do a little reading. It says, for some reason, Amenemhet II, the third king of Egypt's 12th dynasty, and Senusret I's successor, chose to build his pyramid at Dashur, a lonely pyramid field that dates from the 4th dynasty rather than at Lisht, where his two predecessors built theirs. It says Dashur is an interesting field to explore because it has only recently been open to the public and so far is not very crowded with tourists. It has some interesting and otherwise fine and large examples of pyramids. This pyramid was most likely called Amenemhet is well cared for and is located east of the better-known Red Pyramid, but it is not nearly as well preserved as some of the others in the area. We call Amenemhet the second structure, the White Pyramid, though obviously it is no longer white. And obviously, since this is all we have left, it certainly is not in as good a shape as the perfectly preserved, almost red and Ben Pyramid nearby, coming from 8 dynasties earlier. Does that make sense? It says, it derived this name many years before when the stone thieves stole the casing, leaving behind many limestone chips that made the pyramid at the time to appear white. We know that from 1894 through 1895, Jacques de Morgan made a cursory investigation of the ruins. Unfortunately, he was too focused on the jewelry finds in some surrounding princesses' tombs that he never examined the Mortuary Temple, the causeway, or the Valley Temple. In fact, no casing stones have ever been found, nor even the base of the pyramid cleared for proper measuring. Therefore, we are not sure of its size, the angle of its slope, or its original height. The Mortuary Temple was almost completely destroyed, though we know it was probably called Lighted is the place of Amenemhet's pleasures. The ruins which stand to the east of the pyramid have yet to be closely examined, though they must be very inviting to archaeologists. There are many building fragments, some of which include relief decorations. Most interesting, however, might be the massive, tower-like structures resembling pylons in the temple's east facade. Now here is a diagram of what they assume the pyramid looked like. But what was really unique is coming off from the east here, there obviously was the start of a causeway, but then there was 2 towers, pylon-like structures that are pretty unique to a pyramid site. But what these look like and how tall they were originally, you got to wonder. And here is the main pyramid with a massive shaft descending a line perfectly north. And all the tombs were built between the pyramid itself and the rectangular enclosure wall. A lot of these pyramids had perfectly kind of square enclosure walls. This one had a very rectangular one. And just like all the other pyramids in Egypt, the tombs of the royals are found outside of the pyramid. And here they are between the pyramid itself and the enclosure wall, clearly from Amenemhet II. And here's what the main internal chamber looks like, descending to what they say is a burial chamber. But this is kind of unique also. But we have maybe 50-ton blocks forming part of this structure. And also, we have, this is called a hypogeum. We have massive blocks that are kind of sitting at a diagonal above it here. And these blocks here, how big? Maybe 150 tons. We would need an excellent crane today to put these in place. So, this appears to be a pyramid that was built over by an Egyptian pharaoh. But this original internal structure, really, there's no good answer for who built it, if you ask me. It says here, this is the last time that the entrance to a pyramid would be uniformly in the middle of the north side of the pyramid. It says, as customary, it was covered by a north chapel. The entrance leads to a descending corridor built of limestone blocks, not unlike the construction of Neferkari's pyramid in Abu Sir. This corridor has a false, flat ceiling, atop which is a gabled ceiling made of limestone slabs, leaned one against each other. Gabled ceilings of one nature or another were used in many pyramids in order to support the load of so much weight from the structure above. Also, classically, the corridor levels out before arriving first at a barrier made of 2 granite slabs, one of which slid vertically into place and the other sideways. Just a short way further, the burial chamber is located on the pyramid's vertical axis. Just like the Great Pyramid, just like pyramids in Mexico, there seems to be a chamber directly under the axis of the pyramid. It says, however, Arnold does not see this complex as conforming to classical designs, even though it was closer in design to many older pyramids than those to be built in the future. So, this looks a lot more like older kingdom pyramids, especially the internal chambers. He sees Amenemhet II pyramid as the founding of a new pyramid age, when architects, rather than looking back to the old kingdom, found their own paths through experimentation. They have the best design elements from the older pyramids with new techniques. Now here is a look at the descending shaft, and it was blocked up. It says, like the corridor, the burial chamber also has a false flat ceiling topped by a more structurally sound gabled ceiling. The burial chamber itself is rather unique. Its main section is oriented east to west, but one section drops through a square hole sunk in the floor below the entrance corridor out past the granite blocks above. At the end of the room was a receptacle we believe held a canoptic chest. Within the walls are 4 niches, including 1 on either short wall and 2 on the wall opposite the entrance. We do not know if these niches were used for statues or offerings. There was a Quartzite Sarcophagus found at the west wall of the burial chamber. Just like in a lot of these very ancient structures, there was what was said to be a burial chamber and a symbolic sarcophagus with no inscription on the west side of that burial chamber, because the west side of the burial chamber signifies the land of the dead, the west, where the sun sets. Now, before I conclude, I've had many messages on the Zawyet El Aryan pyramid, this one that is covered up in trash that I mentioned in a video 4 or 5 months ago. And out of all my pyramid videos, that's the one I'm most proud of because it really got the ball rolling on information on this site. Jimmy at Bright Insight made a video that's been watched, I think, over 1 million times. And that really makes me feel good. And other channels have made videos, and I know some are going to make a video on this subject. And here is one from the Lost History Channel, TKTC, and this is the former the Kepler telescope channel that was deleted. So any of you who haven't found his new channel, I will leave a link in the description. I just wanted to mention that. He makes videos on the same subjects I do, and I have watched a lot of his videos. But the Zawyet El Aryan pyramid, really, the last months I've been just waiting for somebody to make the obvious video. But I don't think anybody has, and I have had a lot of requests to do a follow-up video on this, and I have looked into this more and more, and I'm going to speak on this. I'm going to make a follow-up video to this pyramid, or this massive shaft that was cut into the earth, and the theories on this, because I have a few things to say, and I've been waiting and waiting, and nobody's said it, so I'm going to. Once again in review, from the early dynastic period, we have the perfectly preserved, almost bent and red pyramids. And then down by the Nile, we have the totally dilapidated pyramid of Amenemhet III, the black pyramid, and then the white pyramid right here. Kind of tucked inside these original pyramids out near the Nile Valley. And if you look here, back up a little bit, if you follow this causeway coming off the red pyramid, it goes down to something buried down here, right in this area. You can see the remains of it here. And if you back up here once again, if you look at the white pyramid, the black pyramid, the bent and the red pyramid, and then look at that structure right here, if you form a line between those 5 structures, that seems to be a pretty symmetrical pattern. I just wanted to point that out. But here is the white pyramid, kind of a lost structure today. And if you take a peek up here, this is the way the Nile flows. We got Saqqara, Abu Sir, the Great Pyramids, and then Abu Ruwash in the northern section of the pyramid field. With that, we'll give you a little story on the White Pyramid. Something I totally neglected in my pyramid series. Glad somebody pointed that out. Hope you thought that was interesting, and you all have a very nice day.